Well, with all the talk about social media addiction by teenagers, Instagram's finally taken a step to try to deal with some of that exposure by its hundreds of millions of teen users. Coming up by the end of the year, Instagram's going to start limiting the content that teens can see in the default teen account. They're going to base restrictions on the PG-13 ratings that apply to movies. Companies also placing some limits on the kinds of conversations its artificial intelligence chatbots can have with its younger users.
I'm very skeptical that they pull this off.
So let's talk about this with Dr. Jeff Gardier for this discussion about teens and how much they're using social media, the possible impact of that on them. Good morning, Dr. Jeff. How are you?
Good morning, team. Great to see you all, as always.
So talk about some of the warning signs parents should be looking for to know when or if their child is just overdoing it with these things in social media.
Well, we know that they are overdoing it, and I'm going to agree with Dave that I'm a little bit skeptical, but it is a step in the right direction, but it's something that should have happened quite a while ago. But that being said, what are the warning signs that our children are being harmed by a lot of this social media stuff? Well, the things you need to know. Is there a change in their behavior where they're becoming more anxious or depressed? Is it a situation of where they're not getting the proper sleep because they're so much on these particular apps? Poor concentration, which results in a drop in grades at school. Are they distracted? Are you seeing secretive phone use or computer use that certainly they don't want you to know? Those are the warning signs that parents need to look at and say, hey, let's take control of this. Because after all, PG-13 is really about whether parents feel that their children can handle content, especially children under the age of 13, should they be looking at these sorts of things?
You know, it's really easy to see, Dr. Jeff, just as a parent, I can watch the kids get more depressed as they're, and anxious as they are just sitting around scrolling, whether they're on the couch or in the car or whatever. And, I understand the concept of trying to at least put some measures in place, but it is really, really easy to just let that happen. As a parent, I'd encourage my kids, even the ones that are, older teens, to put screen time limitations on things like Instagram. And I noticed that when they do that, they tend to be, more eager to hang out, more eager to get involved in conversation than if they're just endlessly scrolling.
That's right, Karen. And what we're talking about here is what can you do as parents? Because it's not just the PG-13 rating that is now going into the content, but you still need to be involved as parents in helping your children not become addicted to social media or be harmed by it. So yes, I think it is important that you put some of those screens on, that you be able to monitor what it is that they're doing. But also create tech-free zones where you don't let them have the devices at dinner time or have them in the bedroom. Make sure that they're not hiding it or by themselves. But one of the most important things that we need to do is modeling healthy behavior. Remember, remember Madonna with Papa Don't Preach? Well, I say, Papa, please reach and put your cell phones away, darn it, because if you talk the talk, you better walk the walk.
Therein lies my problem, Dr. Jeff. I am setting a very bad example north of 12 hours a day, as you can see me here. But as for age-appropriate content, first off, it is such a vast sea of content. That is where I'm skeptical of Instagram doing this job. But also, don't teens usually register as older? Do they actually use their birth date anyway?
Well, that's the problem that we're running into. Unless parents are involved, kids will find a workaround in order to get to some of the more adult content. And that's a real issue. And that's why we need parents to stay involved as much as possible in what their kids are seeing, because we know that there are some positive things about social media. It helps them find support groups. It gets them information academic information. But at the same time, if they spend too much time on social media, then we begin to see these issues around anxiety and depression and being picked on and being bullied.
Hey, Dr. Jeff, I don't know if you were watching before we came to you, the Britney Spears segment we just did,
Yeah.
and the book Kevin Federline has out. And we were looking at some of her videos that she's posting on Instagram, and here at the table we were weighing in on how disturbing this really is. What's your take on this?
Well, I get Kieran's point that if everyone posted something that may look disturbing, then we wouldn't have anyone posting and people would go after them. So I get that. But at the same time, I understand what Dave was saying. Yes, I was watching. I understand what Dave was saying. When we have a triangulation of information, and as we do with Brittany, we have all of that info coming in, and then you put that right next to this dancing with the knives that she's doing. I think that certainly it can be very disturbing. But the most important thing, and what I think we all need to do, is to show empathy towards Britney Spears. She's had a lot of challenges, a lot of criticisms, and it's really important that we support her in her struggle to maintain her integrity.
Hopefully she has someone in her life like you who's willing to help her out, and get real with her.
Yeah,
And
well, I certainly would be happy to help.
well, we'll let her know if we talk to her. But Dr. Jeff Gardere, psychologist, great having you with us every morning as usual. Thanks.